Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video, we're covering Beelzemon for EX2. Finally, we have a full-fledged, dedicated Beelzemon deck. No longer is it just a tech, it is a full deck now, and I am ecstatic for this. I have been waiting for this literally since this game released to be able to play a deck like this. So let's get into it. Don't forget though, our new memory marker this month is Narrowmon, so if you're a yellow fan or just a Gatomon, Ophanimon, Mastemon fan, this is a great memory marker for those decks. You can find this on our Etsy store, link in the description below. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, hand painted as well. Also on that Etsy store, you can find all of our previous memory markers that we've had on the channel, as well as some of our Battle Ready Inc. merch. Alright, so I've got the whole deck pulled up here, and you'll notice that this is a bit different from what we had in the feature match earlier this week. Just a couple things that I wanted to change up here, just to try out, and so far, really liking the changes. And so let's go ahead and do this card by card, so that way some of this stuff will make a little bit more sense. For the babies here, we've got kind of a split. It really depends on which one you prefer. I've got the Pagumon here of when attacking, trash the top card of your deck, versus the starter deck one, which is on deletion, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. So if in general, if you're looking at just like swinging in with this Imp here that has on deletion, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, if that's just your goal, then the on deletion Pagumon is a bit better. But if you're evoing up into like an actual stack, then the original BT2 Pagumon is a bit better, because then that's in the theory that you're going to get multiple uses out of it. But I think the on deletion one is just a tad bit better. That's why I have more copies of it. But realistically, you could probably even just do a 4-1 split of these guys here. Just kind of a personal preference, really. But I think the Trash 2 is a little bit more powerful and a little bit more common of something that's going to pop off. And then, yeah, we do have the OG Impmon here of on deletion, trash the top 3 cards of the deck. If you're not familiar with this whole strategy, it's all about milling cards to the trash, straight from the deck to the trash, rather than the drawing and the discarding that we're used to so much in purple. So this is just a new way to play purple. It's always been about getting stuff into trash anyways. This is just a whole different way of going about it, and with new benefits. We do have the BT6 Impmon. This is your on play. You may trash 1 card in your hand. If you do, return 1 Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeers in its type from your trash to hand. This one's solid. Now, it is not like crazy good. Beelzemon here is a 7 Great Demon Lords, as well as the original Beelzemon. However, Blast Mode is not. He is just a regular Demon Lord. But that's not that bad, because in general, you actually want your Blast Modes in trash, because our Tamer down here that we'll get into allows us to evo into him while he's in the trash. So the fact that this Impmon can't grab him out of trash, not a big deal. The most important part is just recycling our level 6 Beelzemon. Next, we got the new one here, who has this on-play effect of reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with Beelzemon in its name, and 1 Eye and Mako among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck in order. So this is another searcher. I'm loving the searchers in this whole set. All of EX2 has some fantastic searchers, and the Impmon is right on the money with everything else. So that's really great. The Eye and Mako is very important to get your Eye and Mako, but even though this deck does a whole lot of trashing, we do have something else that we'll get into in just a second that actually allows us, if we do mill the Eye and Mako, we can get the Eye and Mako back out. It's not too bad, but still a solid card. And then we have this new type of effect here, which is really common in a lot of the new Beelzemon support, of when this card is trashed from your deck. If it wasn't trashed by its own effect, like another copy of it, you may trash up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. So any of these other effects, like the Pagumon or this other Impmon, if they trash it, if they mill it straight from the deck to the trash, you can mill 3 more cards. However, if that next set of cards that's trashed, another one of these is in there, it won't just keep going and going and going. Okay, so there is a limit. You just can't do it off of its own effect. And then this does have the inheritable here of while this Digimon has Beelzemon in the name, it gets 3k DP. So that's pretty cool. There are instances where we actually will want to Evo up into a stack. We do have a level 5 here and some level 4s. If you're going to Evo on top of an Impmon, I mean, it might as well be this one because you're going to get some good value out of it towards the end. Now, Dobermon is another great new card in this deck. I'm really liking it. It flows so perfectly. It's absolutely a must-have. If you're not running Dobermon and you're running a Beelzemon deck, I think you might be doing it wrong. So when you would play this card from your hand, reduce its play cost by 2 if you have an Alice McCoy in the deck, which we are running the Alice because the Alice is actually pretty good in this deck, which we'll get into also. But the important part here is on deletion, trash top 3 cards of your deck, then return 1 purple Digimon card or 1 purple Tamer card from your trash to your hand. That's incredible. I mean, we're talking like this is on par with the stuff that we saw with Scatter Mode, okay? Scatter Mode doing crazy draws and discards in that previous purple format, that was crucial, okay? Drawing and discarding. But with Dobermon, Dobermon is essential for this new way of playing purple, milling the cards specifically, and then you just get whatever it is you need out of trash, whatever Digimon in your whole trash. Now imagine if Scatter Mode was like, hey, look at your deck and then pick 2 cards out of it and keep them. Like that's almost what Dobermon's saying here. Milled stuff, and if it's like late game, most of your deck is in trash, get any Digimon you want and put it in hand. Awesome. You got a Tamer in there that got milled off of one of these crazy effects, go ahead and grab it too while you're at it. Dobermon is fantastic. Super cool. Now, I do actually have the Scatter Mode in here. Now, you'll notice I am not running the regular Eismon because the Scatter Mode is literally the only drawing and discarding that we're really doing. So on deletion, draw 3, trash 2. It just combos so good with just filling up the trash, just getting value, okay? Like drawing more Impmons, drawing Dobermons, drawing our level 5s here, even drawing the OG Beelzemon. Yeah, if any of these cards get trashed, we have ways to get them back out, okay? Like Dobermon, Calling from Darkness, that sort of thing. But like we are limited. Out of all the other level 4s you can choose from, Scatter Mode is one of those that just, it's really good about getting cards in trash. Now, yeah, they're not getting milled, but that's okay. Like, we have a couple cards that get milled in this deck, but it's not like the end-all, be-all. Okay, we have to mill them. It's less about just having to mill them and just filling the trash. Like, the end goal is still, we're just trying to fill the trash like in previous purple formats. We're just doing it a little bit differently now, but Scatter Mode's still incredible for filling the trash, as well as getting just some good hand resources, okay? It's a solid card. I really like Scatter Mode still just for that, okay? I don't feel bad setting myself back, especially in this deck, because we can go straight from a rookie into a mega. So it like skipping, losing my level 4 on field, not the end of the world. Next, I do have the Devimon still in the deck. It is a blocker. I mean, blockers are still okay. They're solid. It's a 1 Evo cost. It's a 1 Evo cost level 4. This was just another flex spot for the deck. You can change this out for whatever you want. This deck just doesn't have a whole lot of defensive capabilities, right? We're not recovering or anything like that. Once they start swinging to security, there's not a whole lot in there that they're going to have to worry about. So just having a blocker in those emergency situations, say, you got no cards left in security, they've got that stupid rookie chilling in the raising area, just throw down Devimon, call it good, that sort of thing. And a 1 Evo cost to help us get up into our Black War Growlmon. This card is super good, in a deck like this, specifically with the Alice. So 3 Evo cost, level 5 here. Digiburst 3, so you will need a level 4, a level 3, and a baby underneath it. So you'll need the whole Evo chain here. But you may play 1 level 3 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Any on-play effects on this Digimon don't activate. So you don't get your on-play Impmons here, but you still get a body on field. Why that's important is because we're running Alice. Alice's effect of your turn once per turn, when one of your Digimon would digivolve from a level 5 to a level 6, you may delete one of your Digimon to reduce the Digivolution cost by 3. So go Black War Growlmon, Digiburst your stuff away, bring out the OG Impmon, the on deletion one, pop it, mill 3, and then Evo into one of your megas here for a reduced Evo cost. So reduce it by 3. For the new Beelzemon, that's just a free evolution right there. War Groundmon straight into Beelzemon for free. And you get to delete your Impmon in the process. So you get those great on deletion effects that can trigger here. So really liking the synergy here. You'll notice that is the only level 5 that I chose to run. We were running some other stuff before, but that just did not combo that well. If you have any other ideas for secondary level 5s and you have a good reason, definitely let me know, because I'm curious of what other level 5s people are going to be running. Also does have the inheritable of when attacking once per turn, you may delete one of your other Digimon to unsuspend this Digimon. That's also not too bad. So you can go Beelzemon, swing, go into a blast mode. Blast mode can clear like 3, 4, 5 security. Black War Groundmon inheritable, unsuspend, swing again. Yeah, do you see that value? That value is nuts. Black War Groundmon is very, very good in this deck. Now, you'll notice that we are running 4 of the old Beelzemon and then only 2 of the new one. I did cut the new one down just a bit, simply because I mean, look at our level 4s, Dobermon and Scatter Mode. It's all about just swinging and getting them deleted. The only time you're really going to get into Black War Groundmon is on occasion. You've only got 4 level 4 or 4 level 5s, so we don't need that many level 6s that are going to Digivolve on top of the Black War Groundmon. So I like the old Beelzemon, because if we have 10 or more cards in trash, which with this build is super easy, you can Evo on top of your Impmon. And since we're running all Impmons for our rookies, we have tons of them. We have Calling from Darkness. You know, we've got the Dobermon if we need to add one back. We have multiple different ways of getting Impmons onto field very easily. And then when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So this is just a really easy way to get into a level 6. So if 4 of these, we can just go straight from level 3 to level 6. So we don't actually have to Digivolve on top of our Black War Groundmon. Now, we do want something that can, that will also work there. So we do have the, or the new Beelzemon, which is when Digivolving and when attacking. So it's not once per turn. So you can Digivolve, use this effect, swing, use this effect again, all in the same turn. You may trash the top 2 cards of your deck, so we got a mill 2 immediately, then delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For every 10 cards in your trash, add 1 to the maximum level of the Digimon you can choose with this effect. So almost like an instant level 4, just like the old Beelzemon. Very, very easily in this build, easy to get it up to a pop of level 5 or lower. For a level 6, this is a pretty solid. And the fact that you can, it's only a 3 Evo cost. So if a Memory Fixer, you can Evo into this guy pretty easily. Get his Wind Digivolving effect, pop something, immediately attack, pop something again. Like, that's really good. This Beelzemon is pretty beastly. I really do like it. And then I did skip over its mill effect here of when this Digimon is trash from your deck, you may play one Impmon from your trash without paying its memory cost. If you saw the feature match, this was so nutty. They would swing in with the original Impmon, trash 3, it would die, right? And they would trash 3, trash a Beelzemon, play out the Impmon again, swing on a following turn, it gets deleted. They mill another Beelzemon, play that same Impmon out again to get trashed again. Just absolutely insane. I mean, they got like 10 cards in their trash literally in like a couple turns off of a single Impmon, just being recycled over and over and over. Very, very funny and powerful. Now we do have the new Blast Mode. Now I do have only 3 copies in this. I think that's fine. You just want to get one of these into rotation as quickly as possible. Just get it trashed. But the reason I'm not running like 2 copies, which is what you typically run of level 7s, why I'm running 3, is because he has a pretty solid mill effect that if we trigger it multiple times, cool, not that bad. When this Digimon is trashed from your deck, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Like, that's like Beelzemon's thing. Level 4 or lower, you do not stick around. I think that with D-Reaper being so prevalently played, we're going to see more Imperial, but also Armor Rush has a good matchup against D-Reaper, so this deck is then a counter to those decks, right? So it's like, yeah, Beelzemon, you know, not the best because it doesn't counter D-Reaper. Yeah, but it counters everything else, so that makes it really awesome. And then, so when Digivolving, now it is a 6 Evo cost normal level 7, 15,000 DP, all super standard level 7 stats here. But remember, with our Tamer, which we're going to cover, we can actually Digivolve into this guy for 3 Evo cost instead. So that's really great from your trash, as long as he's in the trash. And then when Digivolving, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. So if they've got like a field full of like level 6s or a couple level 7s, you know, you pop all of those. They're all the same level. They all get popped. Now, again, this doesn't affect D-Reaper because they don't have levels, but that's okay because you're still countering a lot of other big stuff. And just being able to delete the biggest thing, the biggest threat on their field, very great. And then your turn, for every 10 cards in your trash, this Digimon gets security attack +1. So that's really easy to get this going. In this deck where we, like I literally was saying, like by turn 2 or 3, you know, you've only got 10 cards in trash, and then 20 cards in trash soon to follow after that. Yeah, not too difficult there. And by the time you're going into a level 7, you've got, you know, you've gotten into a level 6, you've got your Tamer on field, right? And by the time you're getting to that point, you're probably a decent ways into the game, you know, 8 or 9 turns, and your trash will be so massive, you know, 20, 30 cards, that by the time blast mode starts swinging, you know, you're finishing the game, especially if you got Black War Groundmon underneath to unsuspend and swing a second time. So I'm like, this isn't an OTK deck or anything like that. I'm just saying, though, the potential is there. It can actually be done in this deck. And this card is just so sick. Blast mode is so sweet. I did find it kind of funny that the original Beelzemon artwork, you know, he had the cannon, right? So he has the cannon here. I don't know if he has the wings or not. It doesn't look like it. And he's got the red eyes here. So this is like right before he turns good. And then this is when he's got the green eyes and the wings. This is like when he does become a good guy in the anime. I love that they did that. Just very, very great on the developers and the artists, like paying attention to that sort of thing. All right, next, Trump Sword for our main, or not, I would say our main, but one of our big removals. Most people have adopted to Fly Bullet, right? The issue with Fly Bullet is it doesn't affect D-Reaper, okay? And this deck suffers against D-Reaper, okay? That's like its biggest challenge is against D-Reaper. And if your opponent sticks a Gatekeeper against you, that almost sets off your whole way of doing damage. But Trump Sword is also really nice. If it gets hit in security off of a Reaper, it kills the Reaper because the Reaper unsuspends because of its effect. They place 2 underneath and it unsuspends, and then the check goes off. So if you hit a Trump Sword, this is like a game ender for Reaper. So great card. Honestly, one of the best removal options in the entire game. That can get hit in security. You know, it's better than Wyverns. It's just so much better than a whole lot of stuff. Anything level restriction or DP restriction, you know, Trump Sword just gets around that. So this is actually a fantastic meta call with D-Reaper being so prevalently played. Now, I do also have Deathslinger in here, as I would say probably more of our main removal option card. Only 4 play cost removal, and then when it's trash from deck, you gain 1 memory, so it's got a nice mill effect that works great with the deck and our whole strategy. But then delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. For every 10 cards in trash, add 1 to the maximum level of the Digimon you can choose with this effect. So deleting a level 5 is actually not too far off. Like I was saying, by the time you're wanting to use a removal option, typically it's on something that's a threat, a level 5, a level 6. By the time that gets into play for you to need to use a removal on it, you've probably got 10 cards in trash. You might even have 20 by that point early on, depending on, you know, how your draws go and how you play it out. Getting a live Deathslinger of killing a level 6 for 4 memory, unheard of. Okay, 4 memory to kill a level 6. That's really good. I really like Deathslinger. Very, very cool card. Great for this deck. Taking it back a little bit here, I do have Calling from Darkness in here. Delete one of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. There's no level restriction or anything like that. If you need to grab, you know, a Beelzemon or a Black War Groundmon, you know, any of your Impmons, whatever the case may be, you know, this is going to grab it back. Especially with a lot of our level 4s being on deletion. So like, you know, turn 2, you swing in with these level 4s, they crash into security, they die, they get their on deletion effects. Your board is empty. That's a great time to go Calling from Darkness. While your board is empty, where you don't have to delete anything and you still get the 2 cards back, so you get the rookie and the level 4 just to do again. Yeah, Calling from Darkness is great. And even late game, when you're just like, I've cleared all their security, I just need a rookie to Evo in Rising area so I can swing with on the next turn. Boom, Calling from Darkness. Perfect card for that. We also included Mist Memory Boost, which was a last-second include for the feature match, but actually ends up being great, honestly. 3 play cost, trash the top 2 cards of your deck, and draw 1. Trash 2, so we're going to getting more of our mill effects here, and then drawing, and then we also have a delay gain 2. So it's like, you know, purple Memory Boost and all the other Memory Boost cards, but it's like made for this deck. It's so good in combination with this whole deck. So really like the Mist Memory Boost. Really great stuff here. Next, we have the Alice, which we talked about before already. 2 play cost, very cheap, and then you just can get like really solid value out of it, especially if you know you're going for the Black War Groundmon play. You've got the Black War Groundmon already, you got the Alice. Sure, go ahead and use the Alice then. Pretty, you know, easy play. 2 memory, not that bad at all. Especially on a turn where it's like a little bit slow, you don't have anything that you want to overcommit. You know, dropping an Alice on a turn like that, totally fine. Really, really solid card. And then our last card that we have here is our Memory Fixer for the deck. We actually have a dedicated Memory Fixer instead of having to run Matt. While Matt is a great card because of all the mill we do, being able to add something back, there is a lot of value in Matt, and I almost debated putting one in, but I feel like multiple Mats and multiple Iron Makos was a little overkill, especially because the Iron Mako is a little bit more important than the Mat is, because when you attack with a Digimon, you may suspend this Tamer to trash the top card of your deck. You can just do that anytime, okay? Anytime you attack with a Digimon, you can suspend the Iron Mako and mill a card. That's cool. I mean, that's perfect for this deck. But then, if the attacking Digimon is Beelzemon, you may Digivolve it into a Beelzemon Blast mode in your trash for a Digivolution cost of 3. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Like that's such good value, and it's going to be mid-attack. So even if it does pass turn, if you're swinging with a Blast mode and getting, you know, multiple, you know, 3-4 security checks, even if it's passing turn, that's not too bad. You know, it's still very solid. So Iron Mako, fantastic. So we do have the 3 in here because it's you know, kind of something you want to get as soon as possible. And with you milling cards so much, you do have a chance of milling it in the trash. So maybe having you know, another chance of drawing another one is, you know, might be needed. But also we have the Doberman in here to help balance it. So even if we do accidentally mill an Iron Mako, we can just go Doberman and just pull it right back out. So totally awesome. Works, the whole deck just works so well together. Everything just flows and just like it's meant for each other. Now, another card I meant to talk about was Bag for Revenge. 2 play cost. One of your Digimon gains on deletion, play this card without paying its memory cost. You don't get any of your on-play effects, but the fact that you can just keep recycling stuff is pretty great. So I really like Bag for Revenge on something like a Doberman or a Scatter mode. Like if you can go Doberman and then Back for Revenge and swing in and you know, trigger your Pagumon on deletion and your Doberman, and then just get another Doberman right back. Like Back for Revenge also feels like a pretty solid card. It's just fitting it in, it just feels so tight, like such a tight deck. Like if you really just don't want to do the Alice combo, you could drop the Alice and you don't have to run Black War Groundmon then. And, you know, you could fit in the Back for Revenge and something else. But it feels like that feels really good. If you don't like the Trump Sword for the D-Reaper matchup, you know, you can drop that. If you don't want to do Calling from Darkness, like it could be a supplement for Calling from Darkness because it kind of does sort of the same thing of you're getting Digimon back from the trash. I don't know. It feels right. I mean, it literally has Impmon on the card art. Like, could that not be planned out any better? This is all the way back from BT3, and we're all the way up into BT8 EX2 time. and this card actually works really great in this deck, and not necessarily because of the Impmon, but because like the level 4s, the Dobermon and the Scatter mode that we're using in the Impmon deck. I feel like that's so hilarious that we've kind of come back full circle on that. But yeah, that was another card that does actually fit in the deck really well, that could be popped off. But I feel like what we have here is probably the stronger of all the choices, and Back for Revenge is just a tiny step down from the other things that we have on the list.